Welcome to the Reddit Chronicles. Today we are on relationship advice. I need advice. Our first post is by prior interaction. I, 33F, am engaged to my fiancé 31M, whom I've been with for 9 years. I saw something on his phone that I don't know how to feel about it. Me and fiancé have become engaged at the end of last year, and we are getting married in November of this year. A little background: we don't go through each other's phones. We are both open to just giving our phones to each other, no questions asked. I was eating lunch, and my fiancé had stepped out to grab something, and his phone kept buzzing. I looked down to see who was messaging him so much, and noticed it was a bunch of IG alerts. I went to check if he had posted something funny, because at that time I wasn't on social media, but I knew he always posted stuff that was hilarious, and always got a lot of likes. Clicking on the alert, it took me to his DMs. I noticed that he had like 16 unread messages from his followers, including my messages that I had sent him before deleting the application, excluding 2 messages that were read and responded to. One I recognized as his friend that he was close to, and of another who I didn't recognize and who was a girl. I thought that was weird because my fiancé is a guy's guy. He likes to hang out with his guy friends and rarely was friends with girls. So I decided to check out her profile and see if it was someone who was a part of his friend circle. Only to find she constantly posted half-naked pics, which was surprising, but the second thing I noticed is he and her had no mutual friends, but she lived in our area. So I went back to the messages and saw that he was always very quick to reply to her and reacted to all her posts. There was one particular message that made my heart drop. He replied to a post she made about her ex being unfaithful, which my fiancé replied, "If that was my girl, she wouldn't be my girl anymore." The girl wrote back, "Right, you would tell people what's up, and that was your girl." My fiancé then stated the following to her, "Nah, that's not my girl, she's just with me," which she reacted to with a laughing face. When she didn't say anything, he said, "JK, I tell people what's up." I didn't feel good about that interaction and tried to talk to him about it, which he turned around and said, "I am always jumping to conclusions, and I am upset over nothing because it was a joke." I pushed and asked, how would he feel if I said that to someone, which he cut me off saying that it wouldn't matter because it was a joke. I tried to explain to him why it upset me, and he said, "I don't feel like I did anything wrong. I dropped it because his birthday was the next day, and I didn't want to ruin it. It's been a few days, and I felt maybe we could have a calmer conversation." I told him I was still hurt by the way he spoke to her and how he reacted after. He said that he stood by what he said, and he doesn't feel like he did anything wrong. I told him it would make me feel better if he unfollowed her, which seemed to trigger him because he then started yelling, asking why and what the point was. I stayed calm and replied it would make me feel better, and he then yelled why. This was my mistake because I was so flabbergasted by the question I replied with, "Because I know you're choosing me and my feelings." He freaked out and started yelling that he can't believe that I said that, and why does it have to be a choice. I walked away after he was done. I feel so defeated and tired. I don't know what to do. Any advice? Next up, posted by Throwaway, my M26, pregnant girlfriend F23, reached out to my dad, who I haven't spoken to in 3 years. After I said no, I stopped talking to my family 3 years ago in an attempt to take back control of my life. Growing up was very interesting. I come from a very wealthy family, but my dad was such a pain in the backside, and up until I was 23, I felt like was drowning because of his controlling behavior, so I cut him off and I haven't said a single word to him for 3 years. My girlfriend and I have been together for 6 years. I got laid off, and even though I found a new job, the pay sucks. Pay is not good, and I've been trying to find something that would use my degree this time around. We were willing to relocate, and I got a job interview in Philly. Very good job, but I didn't think I was going to get the job due to lack of experience, but I did. I was going to tell my girlfriend this later on in the day. She's been trying to get me to talk to my dad about a job offer, getting a loan, until I can find another job. I've said no countless of times. She also wanted me gain access of my trust fund, but I do not want to. In order to do that, I have to speak to my dad, which I do not want to do. She doesn't get why I cannot. I'm telling you, once you go to my dad for something, he will make you feel like the smallest person in his life, and it was the worst feeling. Turns out my girlfriend went to him. I saw a missed call from my dad and a text message when I woke up. Message read, "So I have to hear from your girlfriend that you're having a child? How nice. My door's still open, but you're the one that closed it." I asked my girlfriend what was he talking about, and she said she briefly spoke to him. She got his number from one of his business cards and updated him on my life. I told her I didn't want to speak to him. What made her think I wanted her to? It was out of line what she did, and I let her know that. I told her about the job at that moment, and she's been trying to make it up to me ever since. I'm mad, I really am. I understand the spot I was in, but still, she might not get it, but it didn't give her the right to go behind my back like that. What's the best way to go about this? Next up, posted by Throwaway, I've 30M have been dating a girl, 28F, and my friend, 22M, is getting in the way. I feel betrayed. I think my friend likes the same girl I've been seeing, so I've been seeing some girl for about 6 months. Nothing is official, but we hang out, go on dates, stays over, and have been intimate. The girl's from work. I am 30, and she is 28. However, my friend who works on the same team has always been friendly with her. He's 22, and with all due respect, he is not good looking. Only work friends. They've never spoke outside of work prior since we've been hooking up. She's been speaking to him about me, and obviously asking for advice, etc., seeing as he knows me quite well from work. However, recently, he has been seeing her outside of work, going for walks and such to speak. He keeps saying he needs to speak to her about his issues too. He constantly texts her when we are out together, texts he misses her, and he loves her, in a joking way, but I'm starting to think there is more to it now. He keeps dragging her away in work to speak to her. I don't want to say anything, as she's free to do as she wishes, but it is starting to get me down, as it's so obvious. He doesn't contact me anymore since he started to go for walks. She did say to me that she thinks maybe he might like her, but doesn't know what to say, because she doesn't like him in that way. I didn't really carry the conversation on, as I don't want to come across as that guy. I'm not concerned at all anything will happen between them, that isn't my issue. However, it's bothering me that it's affecting my time with her. I don't know what he could be saying to, and I feel kind of betrayed by him. I want to confront him, but I'm pretty sure he won't admit that he does like her. Then, I feel he may go back and say, I am trying to stop them being friends. How do I go about this? Do I just cut ties and keep it professional in work? Do I confront him? What do I say? Or do I speak to her? Our final post is by Cage. My 28M boyfriend isn't willing to split rent more appropriately with me, 25F. My boyfriend and I have been together for 6 years and lived together for 4 of those years. We've always split bills and rent evenly. When I was in college living off of student loans, we split everything evenly. He would treat me to a few dinners here and there, but everything was usually split right down the middle. A little about him, he has no debt, his parents paid for his entire college and gifted him their car. It's not super swanky, but it's reliable, etc. A little about me, I have not had much financial help at all from my family. I lease my own car and have student debt that I am slowly paying off. We now live in a state where the cost of living is very expensive. In the last 2 years, each of our careers have gone in different paths. Because I recently graduated, I was working at an entry-level hourly job where I was making $50K for 1.5 years, and then worked my ass off and was internally hired for another position at $70K. I was only in the new position for about 6 months when I was abruptly laid off in December 2022. I had a severance package and was collecting unemployment while actively job searching, and not once did I ask him to pay for more bills or rent, etc. I landed a new job after 3+ months of job searching, and this job pays $55K a year, yet the insurance and benefits aren't as great as my previous role. For some background, when I was promoted to the $70K job, we moved to a nicer apartment and our rent nearly doubled. At the time, this was at the absolute top of my budget. Now this rent is 50% of my monthly income. My partner is extremely good to me. He cooks and cleans a lot, and he lets me have some of his meals that he makes. I'll have like one piece of chicken and then use my own ingredients to make a salad, etc. We shop separately when it comes to groceries. He also makes $110K plus a year. He makes more than double what I make. He's able to save a lot of money because he doesn't have car payments or student loans like I mentioned. I recently let him know that my job is pretty rough financially and that it's much harder to pay for basic things than I thought it would be. I wouldn't have taken this job if I wasn't laid off. I asked if he could pay $100 to $200 extra a month for rent because it would really help me. I only am asking him to pay a couple extra $100 per month for rent until I can get some sort of promotion, and I am actively doing everything I can to move up, get promoted, get a raise. He's telling me to just work hard and get another job, and that I'm asking for a handout, and that $200 won't really make a difference, it's not that much money. It's really frustrating, and he's insisting that we pay 50-50 because it's only fair. I feel like he's treating me like a roommate and not his girlfriend that he's been with for 6 years. For context, we are very committed and have discussed marriage. His parents see me as their daughter-in-law already. The emotional aspect of this almost hurts more, and I don't know what to do. How do you recommend that I approach this topic with him so he understands? I just want him to see my side and pay a couple extra $100 a month for rent. Edit 1. When I said state, I meant a physical location, not like a mental state or way of life, lol. We moved states after I graduated during the pandemic. Edit 2. I want to add again that he is very, very good to me emotionally. He treats me with unconditional love and has always supported me, emotionally. He is very thoughtful. He also pays for dinners sometimes. We'll go out to dinner like twice a month or so. I buy him treats and lunches as well. He also will stock up on necessities like toilet paper and paper towels and only asks me to pay him for those sometimes. I recognize that he is incredibly good to me, but he is very conservative with his money. Edit 3. We shop separately because we have different diets. I eat a lot less food than him, and he travels a lot, so many of his meals. He also eats out while traveling, but he cooks dinners when he's home, and I share some of them with him. Edit 4 in an update. I want to address all the "you're just a roommate he sleeps with" comments. From an outside perspective, this may look this way. However, we have been together for 6 years, my family loves him, I am very close with his family, we have agreed we want to marry each other and have children. We support each other through every life change and big event, except for apparently this one. This particular issue is hurting me emotionally, because it seems that he doesn't understand what it's like to have a financial burden. Based on his financial history, he may not be able to empathize with my situation, and therefore doesn't think it's a big deal. Of course, this is a major issue. I talked to him this morning, and he said he would consider paying a little more for rent if I would cook and clean more, as he does the majority of the cooking and cleaning right now. There is a lot more to discuss because the issue is larger than just that, but I want to thank everyone for their input as it's been really helpful. Latest update. He's on the road traveling for work and called me. We talked through things, and we decided that I'd put together a spreadsheet of all my expenses and my income, etc., and from there we'd decide how much he'll pay to help with rent. Thanks again for all the help. I brought up a lot of points and concerns that were listed in the comments that I aligned with, and he seemed to better understand. I also expressed I'd be happy to cook and clean more, as he felt he was pulling a lot of the weight in this realm, and I recognize that. I also asked what his plans were with him saving so much money every month while I struggle, and he said he aggressively saves with his 401k so we can retire comfortably in the future. While this is thoughtful, I expressed that we also have to think about the present and the health of our relationship today. This also resonated with him. Thank you for listening to the Reddit Chronicles. Follow for more content.